Hey everyone, it's Kaleem Caire here in Madison, Wisconsin. Here at the state capitol, got this big, beautiful Christmas tree behind me. We're gonna do a little something together. And we decided to come out today to talk to you guys about what the New Year's resolution should be for our community. We said, you know what, going into 2018, there are gonna be a lot of people making New Year's resolutions. There are gonna be a lot of people thinking about what can I do to help change the community I live in, the circumstances of my family. And we wanted to give you guys something else that was positive to look forward to. We also still deal with achievement gap issues in our schools. We're dealing with housing crises in our community, homelessness. We have the same challenges a lot of other places have. But we also have a lot of great people and a lot of great organizations who are working on those very problems that we have. And sometimes, you guys, I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes we get so caught up in defining what the problems are that we stop seeing the solutions that are actually taking place and manifesting themselves around us every day. 2018, you guys, let's focus on the great things that are happening while at the same time we work on those challenges that still exist. Hope you enjoyed this video, but we're gonna get out there and get at it. Peace. And then we have American Family, you guys. Behind me is a dream bank. Great innovation that they created right here in our community for community members to use, to come and think about new ideas, to plan, to engage each other. It's a wonderful idea. But one of the things that American Family has done more recently is the creation of the Dreams Foundation. Now through that foundation, they're supporting dozens of organizations in our city and hundreds of organizations across the country. They have a great goal of really helping to empower organizations and institutions to do great work for people in communities around needs that they actually have in those communities. So I know they have a few priority areas, but in those priority areas, there are a lot of areas of need. And they've said, you know what, we're going to get behind it. Then their latest creation of the Steve Stricker Golf Tournament, it's been great. This year, I saw that they went from giving $25,000 and $50,000 grants to giving more than that this year. You got to think about organizations like American Family and look beyond just the size of the organization, and it's the size of the heart and the commitment that they make to us. You know, got to thank American Family too. And then you guys, there's Grace Episcopal Church. You all know Grace Episcopal Church if you've come downtown and you've seen people here who are homeless. This has been their salvation for decades. This church has been here for a very long time. I don't know its history. All I know that ever since I was a little boy, this has been a place where people could come who are homeless and find shelter. I know they operate a men's shelter here. I believe my friend Preston Patterson, I grew up with over on Fisher Street, is one of the directors here. But this is a place that helps feed the homeless and shelter the homeless in cold times like these. Today, it is 3 below zero. Can you imagine being out here homeless in this weather with your children? Grace Episcopal Church. And here I am at the Children's Museum in Madison, and look behind me, you guys. It says it all for itself. You know, this is a place for children to come, play, have a good time, feel free in their play. Just come here, chill out with their families, do whatever they want. They have art for kids upstairs. They have jungle gyms and things and places and spaces for kids to play, for them to imagine the world the way that they see it. They have live animals upstairs, pigeons that will fly across town and come back. I mean, they have so much here for our children. You know, we got to be thankful for the people who put all their time and resources into creating this place. Beautiful, beautiful Children's Museum in the heart of downtown Madison. You guys, this is a gift to the community. If you haven't used it, please do. I want to thank Deb Gilpin and her team, Brenda Baker, the exhibit team, for actually making this thing look alive every day. But again, thank you for those who invested in this. Another great place and space for our children, you all. And no, I'm not a newscaster, you all. I'm not doing sports, not doing any of that. I'm just here at WISCTV, Channel 3, home of Madison Magazine and Morgan Murphy Media Family. And I just want to point out the fact that this organization has highlighted some of the most important moments in our city's history. They've also highlighted some of the important moments, and many of the important moments in communities of color. And who better than Neil Hynek, one of my favorite newscasters, editorialist of all time. All that he's done and this organization has done to shine a positive light on people in this community has been tremendous. But the one thing they also do, you guys, is they shine a light on the things that are important. They tell the story of what our children need. They tell the story of what our community needs. They tell the story of what our community is doing to take action around those needs also. And so, more than happy to be here today to give a shout out to WISCTV, Channel 3, Madison Magazine, Morgan Murphy Media family, Karen Michaels, Neil Heinen, Mike Cornerman, and the whole team. We love you all. Thank you for everything you're doing for us in Madison. And folks, again, another good group to give a shout out to. And you have Promega. They call this BTCI. You can see the name of the building behind me. Bill Linton and his creation here in Fitchburg, a suburb of Madison. People wonder, who may not hear about Promega that much, they're like, well, what do they do? Well, they're one of our biotech companies in this community that's grown dramatically over the last 20 years. And so they employ a lot of people. But beyond that, to my left over here, they have a convening space for the community to use, to come together to solve problems, to hear about initiatives, to share information, but also a great partnership every summer with the African American Ethnic Academy, where they're introducing young people in middle school or elementary school to the sciences. I mean, how many people know about this? Now, this is something that they publicize through the schools to give kids an opportunity, but you know, Promega's not that concerned about the visibility they get for that program around our county, but we're giving them some visibility for it right now. Thank you, Promega. Thank you for what you're doing to introduce our children to the sciences. There's a lot of things that they might not have access to if it wasn't for you. And the exposure you're providing our kids is awesome. And Rhydian Homes is a wonderful home builder in Dane County. They built a lot of homes in this community. I can't even begin to tell you how many they've built over the years. Started out as Midland Builders and then merged with Simon, I think Don Simon Homes, and maybe a couple others to create Rhydian. But Jeff, whose father started the company years ago, he's now running it as CEO, told me not long ago that in the last 15 years, this organization has given over $1 million to charities in this community. I also know that they get behind a lot of education initiatives in town and other housing initiatives in town. So when you're buying homes from places like this, and I'm sure there are other home builders, I heard there's over 70 of them registered in Dane County. You know, some of them do great work, you guys, and we should be proud of that. And I can't say enough about Attic Angel. This organization has done so much in this community over so many years, you all, several decades. They've been donating their time, their resources. Now, they provide a lot of senior housing in our community, but they also provide a lot of resources also. They've gotten behind some of the most important initiatives in this community. We've talked a lot about racial disparities in the community, but there's been issues related to food, education, and in our case, early childhood education at One City. They got behind us, believed in the dream. We've taken the dream to a whole nother level. This is a game-changing organization. Again, another group that's supporting us that we should all be thankful for going into this new year. Gotta love Attic Angel. Another beautiful thing that we've seen happen in the last couple of months in our community is a partnership come alive between the City of Madison, Dane County, and Catholic Charities. Together, they work together with other organizations, United Way, a number of other organizations in Madison, to create the Beacon. The Beacon is actually a home shelter for people who are homeless. It gives them a place to go during the day to take hot showers, to wash their clothes, to eat healthy food, to spend time reading. It has a place for children because there's a lot of homeless children in Dane County, a place for children to be. They have computers for people to check for jobs. They have workshops. They have areas for workshops in there for people to meet. But another thing is the case management is helping people hopefully find their way out of homelessness. This is something that just came together. Again, community stepping up big and answering the call for homelessness in our community and saying, you know what, we can do more. And guess what? They've done it. And then there's Exact Sciences, you guys. I got to give a big shout out to Exact Sciences. Good friend Kevin Conroy, founder, CEO, co-founder with Manish. Manish, shout out to you too. What this organization has done besides going from a few employees 7-8 years ago to over 1,000 employees with their colorectal screening program that they have, they've done a lot in this community already. You start to see their name around a lot of different activities in this city. I know they've been heavily involved in the United Way recently. Before that, with the Urban League of Greater Madison. But one of the best things that we've heard recently is the partnership that they've formed with Ruben Anthony and the Urban League to help people get jobs in this community. So what are they doing to do that? They're actually creating the jobs here themselves. The Urban League and Exact Sciences announced a wonderful, exciting partnership to prepare people to be lab technicians and other jobs here at Exact Sciences. We got to give a shout out to them. You're talking about innovation, businesses out there who are doing this, creating opportunities for people and actually finding a way to help people get in. We got to give them a shout out. Big ups to Exact Sciences. And folks, what can we say about MG&E? They are our community energy provider here in Madison, but they're much more than that. These folks have gotten behind community initiatives for a very long time. Their recently retired CEO, Gary Wolter, a real serious hero and champion for community efforts. He put his efforts again behind the United Way, but through that organization, he met with a lot of other community organizations. He'd invite you up here to meet with them. He seemed always interested in what was going on. I've heard him in rooms and spaces I've spent time with him in where he steps up big to advocate for us too. You know, he steps again out of his realm of being the CEO, and he would advocate for opportunities, whether it's in education, healthcare, work. And I think Gary, as I talked to him, he was far more into, I think, workforce development and education than probably anything else. But again, MG&E's name has been all over this community. When the Race to Equity report came out, they stepped up big and supported a number of initiatives that came out of that to help alleviate some of these disparities that we have in our community. So again, when we think about what are we doing in this community, look at all the things that are happening in our city, MG&E is behind a lot of those things. Stark Company Realtors, led by Dave Stark. Dave, he's another big champion for Madison. You know, they support a lot of things in our city, but the number one thing that their family has gotten behind, his mother, his dad, Phil, you know, we know Dave got this from them, is his commitment to the United Way and all the organizations that are supported through that. Dave has given an extraordinary amount of his time to that organization. Doesn't miss many meetings, shows up to everything that they're involved in, sets an example for us in the community, and through them, they've funded housing initiatives, education, healthcare, you name it. But this is an organization, small little building over here in the corner in Fitchburg, Seminole Highway, McKee Road, but small building, but they do big things. Thank you, Stark Realtors. Another reason for us to be excited about 2018. And then we have UBS, one of the major financial advising institutions in Dane County. Adam Burrish and Anna Burrish are well known around Madison, not for only their financial advice, but for their charitable giving and just their kind nature. This is a couple that has really gotten involved in a lot of activities in Madison, mostly through the United Way. But, you know, when issues came up in our community about disparities and whatnot, this was one of the people, particularly Anna, who really wanted to have a conversation at a high level in this city. And everywhere she goes, she's talked about the challenges that our community faces, and they put their time and resources behind it. This is another example, you guys, of a company and organization in our community that's doing things that sits off of our highway. We don't even know it, but they're right here. And here we go at UW Credit Union. You know, I think it's our largest credit union in the state of Wisconsin, affiliated with the University of Wisconsin. These folks, you guys, you know, not only do they get people started with saving and starting with building credit and buying homes, you know, they put their resources into our community too. You know, they've supported food programs for kids. Second Harvest is a big organization that they support. They do great things for people by making sure that these pantries have food for families that can't afford it. They support youth initiatives in our community. They support recreational activities. Their employees get out and support people, volunteering their time. And here at their headquarters, they actually have a community room that a number of organizations use on weekends. And their community leader that they have, James Johnson, just a wonderful man, you guys. Again, another organization that sits here, we go here, we might do our banking and financial work here, but you know, they're doing stuff for us too, and we gotta be thankful for that. Here in front of Metcalfes grocery store, founder of the world's greatest Brat Fest. You ever been to Brat Fest? It happens every May of every year. Thousands of people show up. Thousands of dollars are generated for local charities in our community. Any charity can sign up for it as long as they bring volunteers and actually partake in the revenue from that event. It's a wonderful thing. But Tim has also put his time and energy into other projects in Madison along with his brother Kevin. I know their father would be proud of what they're doing because their father also had a deep commitment to the communities where they had grocery stores. So you all, when you're shopping at places like Metcalfes Grocery, know that the dollars that you give are also going back out the door to do great things for other people. And here we are at the Boys and Girls Club, another really important organization in Dane County. Been around a long time. You know, I feel good because my grandmother and other people in the community in South Madison that started the South Madison Neighborhood Center, that's where the Boys and Girls Club got its start in Dane County. It was a neighborhood center. David Smith, neighborhood member at South Madison, was the one who had the great idea of bringing the Boys and Girls Club here. And now we have multiple locations for the Boys and Girls Club. We have children and they have a TOPS program, a great partnership between the Boys and Girls Club and the Madison Metropolitan School District. And you know, there's many other things that they do for children. They have great Thanksgiving events, activities, giving food and opportunity and gifts to the homeless, helping children get jobs over the summer. They got a great summer jobs program. But guess what? There's a whole lot of organizations behind that. I know CUNA Mutual is one of the first companies to get behind their jobs program. That jobs program has expanded to other organizations in Dane County too. So not only is the Boys and Girls Club a place for children, they've been a catalyst for change for young people, and we got to respect that. Thank you, Boys and Girls Club. The Hooper Corporation, they do a lot too. They support a lot of efforts through the company and their employee matching fund. They've gotten behind organizations like DAYS, the Domestic Abuse Center in Madison. They've gotten behind the Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, a number of organizations in our city. They tend to look at health and human service initiatives for children, for adults. They also focus on arts and culture. Without organizations like this, again, stepping up bigger after they heard about the disparities that we have between African Americans and other folks in our community, stepping up to help, we wouldn't have all the support that we need. So again, a lot of things going on that are good in this community. You guys going into 2018, let's count our blessings. Hooper Corporation is one of them. And you all, we love Lucier Community Center. Named after Jack Lucier, Madison newspapers. He has his name on a lot of things around town. A lot of generosity shown there. You know, we got to talk about him too. But as far as Lucier Community Center and what Paul Terranova, his leader's done, I think is in the window right behind me. You know, giving the place and space to children in this area of Madison was a long sought after goal. And it came alive, I think, in the 90s when this project got off the ground. I'm not sure exactly when the center opened, but all I know is they do a lot of good in here, you all. I've come to picnics here where they bring the community together, potlucks, they have activities for mothers, fathers, children all day long in this center. I know they do some things for seniors over here as well. But today, I also saw a little note come out from them around the holidays and highlighting one of their youngsters, Doris Fountain. Doris, brother, I'm putting my hat on you right now. I'm claiming it. You are going to the NFL. You are going to be a good steward for us in that business, and you're going to get out of that, and you're going to do great things beyond that, brother. But I'm claiming it. You will make it. But he put something out today about this young man and how he came up in this center, and just the fact that he highlights not just those who are prominent in sports, but young people who are just doing things in this community. We got to give a shout out to Paul and all the volunteers, Janice and people who worked here for what they've done for our kids, and to people like Jack Lucier for putting the money to make it happen. And Family Pharmacy here in Fitchburg, Wisconsin, Thad Schumacher, founder, owner of it. Man, he's a wonderful man. You know, this is a small business like Wild Pharmacy. You know, not only does this guy hop on his bike and deliver his prescriptions to people all over this area of Dane County, you know, he's gotten behind organizations like the Boys and Girls Club. He's gotten behind One Seat Early Learning and other efforts, giving his resources to it, his time. But what I love most about him is every time he has a job opportunity, he's reaching out to a wide network of people to try to give people opportunities here at his little small business. Imagine if all these small businesses in Madison did that. And there are those that do, but Thad, you know, he's just an example of someone we got to shine a light on who's doing good things for us here. I hope, you know, people see this and say, maybe I'll go to his pharmacy too. You should, because he's doing great things for all of us. And behind me, Trek Bikes. Do I have to say any more? Everyone knows Mary Burke, John Burke, the CEO, took over the company from their family, their father. They've done so much following their father's footsteps about being generous and kind to people. They have donated thousands and thousands and millions of dollars to charities all over Wisconsin, but they've done even more here in Dane County. Most of us know the work that they've done with the Boys and Girls Club, with the bike ride. Mary ran the club for a little while after being the chair of its board. With the bike ride that they do at the Boys and Girls Club, now over 1,000 people are participating in that ride, and the resources that Trek has put into that has been tremendous. Then also the money they've given to support the Avid Tops program, that was Mary Burke's brainchild of bringing that here to Madison, along with Pam Nash at the Madison School District. You know, hundreds of children are going through that program right now, and a lot of children, you all should know this, that the Burke family and Trek Bikes, not only do they sell us bikes, they also help build our children. And so we got to be thankful for them too. You're probably asking me, like, why Channel 27? Are you trying to like shine a light on all the media out here today, Kaleem? Nope, it's not what I'm trying to do. Channel 27, another one that's been on the case for us for a long time, you guys. All the community activities that we have in this community, communities of color, anybody that starts them, they always find a way to show up. And not only that, they've got a lot of newscasters in here that have spent time talking and reading to kids in schools and getting involved in different activities and coming to different events and being spokespeople and MCs at different events around town. And this, you guys, this is a busy job. These people have put a lot of time and they work hours that a lot of us don't work, but they find a way to get involved. Gotta be happy about the kind of things that people like this do. And I gotta talk about TDS and David Whitwer, their CEO. David's been instrumental in a lot of projects in Madison over the years with TDS. They're a telecom company. They've done, you know, amazing things. One of the most amazing things, though, that's been of late, Pastor Alex G, Reverend Alex G, very well known in Madison, kicked off an initiative called Justified Anger, which I was involved in. After all the planning and activity and everything that went on, one of the things that Justified Anger needed besides money was leadership. So Pastor G happened to know Dave. They happened to be, I think they were at a health club or something, but what came out of that conversation, Dave actually dedicated the time for one of his employees as a lone executive to provide the leadership that Justified Anger needed to really get moving. So it's great when you have great ideas. It's another thing when you really need the talent around you to make it happen. Dave Whitwer put the talent around Pastor Alex G. Patrick Gates has been doing a phenomenal job providing support to that organization, and Madison's better off for it. So a lot of good things coming out of that, you guys. Another good company. But also, one more. Johnson Bank, Greg Dombrowski, their CEO. Another one. They support so many activities, from youth sports to activities all around Madison, but Johnson Bank is also a Wisconsin company. They've been here for a long time, out of Racine, part of the Johnson Controls family, started this bank, and they put their resources and money where their mouth is. I remember having meetings in their bank office downtown after I got here, and we started the Madison Prep Charter School Initiative. They were sitting there supportive of what we were doing when Dennis Hafer was here with them. So you guys, again, when we look at these companies, we look at these places in Madison, a lot of times behind them, we don't see what's going on, but there are good people working in these places, and they're doing a lot for our community, and we gotta honor and respect them. I gotta give much respect today to TDS and Johnson Bank. And here we are in front of the Alliant Energy Corporation, another huge employer in Dane County. Not only do they employ hundreds of people, they also provide a ton of support to our community through the Alliant Energy Foundation. One of the most important things that they support is workforce development. They are supporting a number of organizations' efforts to try to ensure that we can diversify the employee base across Dane County, getting people into all types of jobs, particularly not only in energy, but in the biotech industry, in technology in general, and in healthcare. Here I am in front of the Goodman Community Center, you guys, a staple on the east side of Madison. This organization does so much for our community over here. They provide a lot of programming for children. They have a great coffee shop over here. If you're ever interested to come in and get some coffee during the day, you'll see the young people that actually run the store. They have a gym behind me where you'll see basketball tournaments and activities going on. A great meeting hall where if you're involved in the community in any way, you probably have done something in their meeting hall here. They also just have a great atmosphere. You walk in this building, it just feels good to be in there. So all the people in the community who've invested in this for our kids, for adults, for seniors, everything that goes on, this is just another shining example of how much people care about our city. To have something this great located here is just a wonderful thing for all of us. There's not a lot of places you can go in this country where you look at the back of a vehicle and you see a bike rack and you don't see the name Cirrus. Cirrus is everywhere. And guess what? They're a homegrown company right here. Chris Fortune and his wife have been very fortunate in their business, have shared their fortune with our community in a number of ways. They host their own events and activities. When the issue of inequality came up about the workforce, Chris took a step forward and said, you know what, we're going to do what we can to try to diversify our workforce. So they've been working on that here, but also the big support they provide to organizations like the Boys and Girls Club have been truly beneficial to our children. They've put their resources into this Avitas program that's big in our school district here in Madison, but also getting behind the revival of these clubs, you guys, making them look beautiful. He and his wife have been very involved in that and chaired the board of the Boys and Girls Club and gotten their friends personally involved too. So a little business on the side of a busy highway that we drive by all the time. Again, we don't realize the type of big things that they do every day. And we have Task, another major employer in Dane County, huge supporter of the United Way of Dane County, and through them, a lot of initiatives in Madison. Dan Raschke and his wife have gotten behind so many initiatives in this community through that great organization. We've got to be thankful for what these people are doing. One thing I'll say about this organization, though, is not only have they gotten involved in providing resources and volunteers, you know, the CEO has gotten involved in the issues, helping to define the agenda for addressing these challenges that we face in our community. Just imagine if more CEOs like that stepped up, we'd be in such a better place. But you guys, going into 2018, we got to count the ones that are. We got to count the ones that are. And Madison College, another great institution in Dane County, doing some awesome things in our community. When Betsy Barhorse was president, she built this new facility. She armed it with state-of-the-art equipment, state-of-the-art classrooms, great faculty and staff, student support activities for young people. And then along came Jack Daniels, the new president. Well, not new anymore. Jack's been here for a couple of years, but just in a couple of years, not only has he expanded the efforts for students to get involved in this campus, he's also expanded programming in South Madison. And as many of you know and have heard, we're going to have a new South Madison campus that's going to have state-of-the-art classrooms right in the neighborhood that really needs it. We have these kind of things going on in Dane County right now because a lot of people have put a lot of effort in to advocating for change in our community for all of us. We got to thank the board of Madison College for giving Jack the opportunity to do this, and we got to thank all these generous donors for being helpful as well. And Great Lakes Higher Education, big guarantor of student loans, huge supporter of pre-college and college readiness initiatives in Dane County and across the state of Wisconsin. These folks, you guys, have invested millions of dollars every year in these kind of college preparatory initiatives to ensure that young people can actually access college later on. One of the big projects that they support in Dane County, the Boys and Girls Club and the Madison School District's Avitas program, helping hundreds of kids access college every year. They also adopted Black Hawk Middle School, which is not far from their headquarters behind me. They provided school supplies and other things for those children in that school that their teachers need. They provide a steady supply of volunteers as well. They've also supported One City Early Learning Centers with support, generous support for scholarships to help our children access this program that we offer. So you guys, we have people like this in our community who, when they heard that we had serious racial disparities, they actually stepped up and got behind it and tried to figure out what can we do with our resources to help. You got to respect organizations like this. And here we are in front of First Weber, one of the largest sellers of homes in Dane County. Through the First Weber Foundation, they have invested in a lot of efforts too. United Way efforts, they've supported the Boys and Girls Club. They also have supported One City Early Learning Centers. They've supported youth initiatives, they've supported workforce initiatives, they've supported health initiatives. They have done a lot, and they put their name behind many events in this town over numbers of years. And their leader, Jim Imhoff, is one of the greatest mentors for young leaders in this community. You ever been to a great place to eat in Dane County? One of the greatest places right here, Great Dane. They've been around a long time, you all. It's been great to see them grow over the years from their one store downtown. Great place to eat, great place to get a beer, although I don't drink, I hear about it. But they also do other great things in the community. One of the things that I really enjoy is every year, the Urban League of Greater Madison, the United Way of Dane County, and Madison School Community Recreation, the largest recreation provider in Dane County, partner on something called the Schools of Hope Tutoring Initiative. That initiative has been around since the 90s. They put tutors into schools throughout Dane County to help ensure that our children are actually getting the help they need with reading and math. They do other things at the high school level too, or the celebration for their volunteers takes place here every year. So they do things like that, not just here, but at their other stores, while at the same time contributing financial resources to great efforts. You know, again, great efforts, Great Dane. And Tri-North Construction here in Pittsburgh, another great company in Dane County doing awesome work for our community. Their CEO, Tom Thayer, true believer in community, true believer in people getting jobs and in education. His employees really involved also. They have people who serve in elected office, they volunteer their time all over our community. But one of the things that they put their heart and soul into, the building of the Urban League building on Park Street along with the Goodman South Library, a wonderful project. Guess what? Now it's the heart and soul of the South Side. And the Urban League of Greater Madison, Goodman Public Library, part of the Madison Public Library. What an awesome concept, a unification for Madison right here. Got to thank former Mayor Dave Sheslevich and the City Council that got behind this project back at a time when people were talking about all the good things that should happen in South Madison, but weren't necessarily making the investment. This organization right here that I put my heart and soul into took it from a few hundred people we were serving every year to over 1,000, over $1 million to several $1 million in income going into people's pockets through these workforce programs. And their leader now, Ruben Anthony, and all the great work he's doing. I mentioned in another partnership that he's formed with Exact Sciences, a growing company in our town, to help people get jobs. They're going to help over 250 people get jobs at that one company. You guys, things are happening in Madison that are good and that are great and that we should feel good about. This library, people didn't think. It used to be across the way here. Very few people came to it. It's like you want to do something and have people come to it, make it look great, make it look worthy of their presence. This place has always got people in it, always full, always great things happening. Sometimes the most heavily trafficked library in Madison. Right here in South Madison, that people in this community help manifest to believe that if we build it, they will come. Jobs, education, reading, working, can't beat it. Gotta love it. 2018, y'all. And Access Community Health right behind me, another great organization in our community doing great work for people, providing access to quality health care to people who can't afford it. And guess what? Those organizations that many of these families would otherwise maybe go to because they would have the health care with their jobs or whatever, those same organizations, Dean St. Mary's, Meriter, UW, Group Health, all of them have doctors to practice right here. They do dental care, they do mental health, they do a lot of different things for the community. So on one hand, if you know people who are uninsured or underinsured and they're looking for a great health provider, send them to Access Community Health. This one's located in South Madison. They have other locations around Dane County. But in the meantime, support organizations like this, be inspired by their work. 2018, it's game time. And Centro Hispano, one of my favorite places to come to in Dane County. You all, when you walk into this building, it just comes alive. You get to see the beautiful artwork right when you hit the door that they've created in this building. It makes you feel like you're stepping into the cultures that have created this center for Latinos in our community. And its leader, Karen Menendez-Collier, doing phenomenal work. And there've been great leaders that have come through this organization, just wonderful people. But the things that they're doing everything from feeding, educating, housing, working. They're getting people into jobs through here. They got a certified nurses assistant program that's growing. and the community's investing their time and energy in it. With all that's going on in our community right now, all the struggles that people are having, we know members of our Latino community, some of them are feeling like, the world is kind of infringing upon them in this country. Centro Hispano is exposing them to the world of opportunity that exists right here in Dane County. A lot of people are helping them make it do it. So, gotta love Centro Hispano. Karen, thank you for all you're doing. Your board, awesome. YWCA of Madison, man, they do some good stuff in this community. For years, their main focus had been women who had fallen on hard times, needed a temporary housing, needed a place to stay, needed a job, needed some mental health support, needed to be cared for. But they took a leap and went beyond that several years ago when they started to engage in issues of racial justice. And I know they're doing that across the country, but I think they're doing a great job here in our community. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. They have the Racial Justice Summit, which is calling us all into consciousness about our issues in our community, around the issues of race that we have to solve. But then they go a step further with their programs. They have a job rides program that are helping people get to work. They have a restorative license program for men and women who find themselves got out of incarceration or they've lost a driver's license, going through the court system. They help them get their licenses back so they can get to work. They can get their families to where they need to be. They also have other workforce programs. One of the best that I like is the technology program that they have, where they're helping individuals actually get into these technology jobs that are growing in our community. They have a program, Rashid Atlas, who's running that program for them. It's a great program, you guys, getting people trained in actually how to build websites and things like that so they can take advantage of jobs that are here. And Vanessa McDowell, Madison product, who's running it now, and before her, Rachel Krinsky. No, Rachel, we haven't forgotten about you. We appreciate what you guys are doing. Thank you for standing up for our community, and we're standing with you. And then there's Cargill Coffee, right here on South Park Street, in the south side of Madison, one of the most diverse communities in the state of Wisconsin. This leader, Lindsay Lee, decided to start a small business here on this corner at a time, you guys, when people weren't thinking about starting businesses like this in South Madison. But he saw the opportunity. This is a convening place for a lot of nonprofit leaders in this town. Police department, you'll see them here. This is a place where we actually get together, you guys, and have deep conversations about things we need to do in this community, about things we need to do in life. But Lindsay, he's also very supportive of community initiatives. Not only has he sat on my board, but he's done a lot, you guys, in the East Side corridor where he lives, he and his wife, to help with festivals and activities there. This is a small business and a small businessman who's doing wonderful things in our community. They're all over this city, you guys. There are other coffee shops, a lot of people doing awesome things. Cargill Coffee. Literacy Network, another great organization in our community, you all. It's been around for at least 40 years or more, helping people learn how to read. Think about that, being an adult with a child. You can't read to your child because you yourself don't understand the words that are on the page. Imagine a job application and opportunity that's been given to you, but you can't even complete the application. We have people that have just simple skill challenges like that in our community, thousands of them, and they need our help. And you have an organization like Literacy Network that's taking them to the next level. We gotta support organizations like this. Again, they're helping hundreds, thousands of families every year at this little building here on Park Street. Community got together though, built them a bigger space, right in our backyard of one city. Love having them as neighbors. But you know what I love them more for? Is what they're doing to help empower people with the English language and the ability to read and take care of their families. Gotta love Literacy Network. And then it all comes back right here, you all. One City Early Learning. What more can I say? This is the neighborhood that I grew up in. These are the people in this community. Some of them are still here, who I'm still so thankful to know. The ancestors, grandmothers, grandparents, great-grandparents that I knew growing up who are no longer with us. I'm so thankful for them to this day. It's all about building the children, you all, building the children for the future. They are going to be our leaders of the future. They're going to be the leaders of our homes, our community, our government. It all starts with the investment that we make in them. And so we want to make this video again, you guys, to give us a different perspective on who's helping us do that. Who's helping us build the children and the families of the future in the community that we need. We want to thank all of you for all the great work you do. We know we missed hundreds and thousands, hundreds of organizations, thousands of people, but we did what we could, try to give us a new spirit for 2018. Peace.